A man can divorce his wife for so many reasons. What he had to do was, like we Muslims are doing now. You know, we say talak, talak, talak. They say, look, I divorce you. In their language, they must say talak. Go. So the poor woman, she goes back to her parents' home. And the man changes his mind. He says, no, man, that woman used to work like a donkey. You know, I can't get another worker so cheap. So he goes back to his father-in-law's house. Says, come on, dear, back home. So what for? So what do you mean, what for? She says, you divorced me. He says, no, I told you to go have a little holiday at your father's house. And now you want to get another husband. Come, come. Shh. Catches her by the hair and brings her back. He's going back on his word. So Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, a spiritual physician among the Jews, prophet of God, Allah guides him to give them, to tighten them, so he gives them a law. He says, whosoever puts away his wife, let him give her a bill of divorcement. Talak nama lik kar tum de do. Now, to straight jacket the man, you just can't say talak and then you say, I didn't say talak. Put it down in writing. The Jews, our cousins, are very ingenious people. So they said, right. You see, the law says, whosoever puts away his wife, let him give her a bill of divorcement. Likkar dena hai. That's all. That's the necessary primary requisite is that you give it in writing. So right. So the woman has got half a dozen children now. She's not the same anymore. Soft and flabby. He wants to get something nice and crisp. So he says, look, Hazrat Musa alayhi salam said, give her a bill of divorcement. Likkar de diya. Ja. So then he gets another one, and he gets her into trouble, and he wants to get rid of her. What does he do? He said, the law says, put it down into writing. So he puts it down into writing. He is within the law. The law says, likkar do, to likkar dete hain. So Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, another spiritual physician, a prophet of God among the Jews, he sees this abuse. So he wants to tighten them. So he says, it has been said by them of old time, Purane Jamane mein, aage kaha gaya hai, that whosoever puts away his wife, let him give her a bill of divorcement. But I say unto you, whosoever puts away his wife, except for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever marries her that is divorced, committed adultery. No divorce whatsoever. And you can't marry a divorced woman. If you marry a divorced woman, your children are illegitimate, according to what Jesus said. Now he was only prescribing for the sickness of his people. This was not a panacea, cure-all for eternity. Because he said, I have yet many things to say unto you, but you can't bear it now. There's somebody coming after me who will guide you into all truth, everything that you want to know. But he is now prescribing for the sickness of his people. His people, according to what they said, no, there's no divorce. Divorce is not allowed. But you have divorce by the millions. Divorce by the millions. Millions. The number of illegitimate children. Sicknesses. By the millions. South Africa, my country, is boasting the second highest divorce rate in the world among the whites of the world. The gallant Danes, the Danish people, the Norwegians, they were beating the South Africans. Now the Americans are beating South Africa. But the second highest divorce rate in the world is South Africa today. And yet his book says no divorce. And if any divorced person gets married, he says he's committing adultery. You can't marry at all a divorced woman. So I said, come on now, how many of you, somewhere along the line, because the Bible says, you see that once you are illegitimate, the Bible language, in the book of Deuteronomy, God is supposed to be saying that the bastard shall not enter the congregation of the Lord even unto the 10th generation. Look, this word bastard is in the Bible, in the King James Version. I'm not using filthy, dirty language. This is the Holy Bible says the bastard shall not enter the congregation of the Haramzada. Masjid mein nahi aayega 10 generation tak. That's what the Bible says. So I'm asking, that means once you are a bastard, your 10th generation are bastards, according to that. So could they I want to know if there is a single Christian who doesn't have that title. One. Look back your 10th generation. According to what it says, I don't know how true that thing is, but the Bible says that once you are a bastard for 10 generations. Tumhare aulad, 10 generation tak you remain a bastard. So, who is legitimate? I want to know whether Reagan is, or whether Mrs. Thatcher is. Who is legitimate? No. You see, there's something wrong somewhere. Something wrong somewhere. This teaching was a beautiful teaching Hazrat Isa alayhi salam gave for a particular sickness. He's giving it, and he's telling you that, look, this is for you, the Jews. This is not for mankind. For you, there's somebody else coming, for the whole of mankind, who will guide you into all truth. And you can carry on divorce. About the laws of retribution. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam, he said, so whosoever strikes you, he said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Beautiful law. A beautiful law for the nomadic people, moving from oasis to oasis in the desert. There was no time for lengthy litigations or putting a man in prison. An adulterer and the adulteress, the Bible says, stone them to death. That's what the Bible says. Stone them to death. There was no time for putting them out of the way. Said, look, you stay in the desert to die of hunger and thirst. It was more merciful to kill them, more merciful, and they become an object lesson for others. Don't you do that. See what happens? You do spoil somebody else's property. See what happens? Mar jayega. Patthar se maar ko maar dalega. Shh, not for me. Everybody wants to see that horrible death. You say, no, not for me. It's an object lesson. Beautiful law. So Jesus Christ, you see, he says, it has been said, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, whosoever looketh upon a woman to lust after her, had committed adultery with her already in his heart. Wo haram khor ban gaya, just by looking. So you still have long leg contest, beauty contest, striptease contest in Christendom, and they think nothing of it. It's nothing of it. They read these beautiful sermons, but reason. The reason is because Jesus said, you see, he said beautiful things, but he didn't have the time to explain. There's no time. That poor man, according to the scriptures, whenever he opened his mouth, the Jews were after his blood, stoned him, want to kill him, stone him. And he's running, he's hiding. A man in such a situation, he's got no time to tell you the whole truth. So he says, I have yet many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. For he shall not speak from himself, but what things shall he hear, that shall he speak. As Allah, our Nabi is made to say, وَمَا يَنْتِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. He does not speak from his own desire. إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. It is no less than an inspiration sent down to him. عَلَّمَهُ شَدِيدُ الْقُوَىٰ. He is taught by one mighty in power. Then he will testify of me, the Spirit of truth. He will bear witness of me. He will testify of me, talking about me. Who did that? In the history after Jesus, who testified about testimony that Jesus Christ was a true messenger of God, that he was the Messiah, he was born miraculously, his mother was a virtuous woman, she was a saintly woman, he gave life to the dead by God's permission, he healed those born blind and the lepers by God's permission? Who said that? It's our Nabi Karim, this Spirit of truth, this Prophet of truth. He testified, and because of him there are 1,000 million Muslims today. Without any kind of convincing, we accept that Hazrat Isa alayhi salam was the Masihullah, he is Rasulullah, he is Ruhullah, he is the word of Allah, Kalamullah, he is the word of Allah, and so on and so on. We accept. And he is the greatest benefactor of Jesus. This comforter is giving comfort to his mother, comfort to Jesus, because there's nobody besides. In the Holy Quran, it is something that we should check up, read, study, memorize, and show it to our Christian fellow countrymen. There are people who are working with you. People are working for you. Call them. The people that come along from the outside, the European, talk to him. He says, we believe in Jesus. Of course, at first hand, they are suspicious. They think now maybe you want something from them. You want to curry favor with them. Maybe you want a cigarette. Maybe you want some chocolates from them. What do you want? Why do you say you believe in Jesus? He says, what my book says? He says, no.